Wouldn't it be nice if people steered away from the euphemisms and lies of government and stopped promoting their political parasitic party while calling the other party authoritarian? I just want to be real simple about this. An authoritarian is a person or a group of people who wants to rule you against your will and without your consent. I know that there are varying degrees of authoritarianism, just like there are varying degrees of pain. Somebody could slap you in the face or kick you in the balls. That's two different kinds of pain, two different shades, two different intensities of pain, but it's pain nonetheless. And it's an attack on you. Nobody wants to be slapped in the face. Nobody wants to be kicked in the balls. Nobody wants a baseball bat to the shin. So those are all shades of an attack and pain. It's just like authoritarianism. Yeah, there's authoritarianism light, authoritarianism heavy, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's unwelcomed, unwanted rulership of yourself by somebody else who is typically a psychopath. So when we look at channels like this is Jack. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. This is another one of those people that just appeared overnight. If I show you this Social Blade, he went from zero views in July of 2024 to 33 million views the next month. And his high view count was 54 million views per month. He is currently averaging about 1.2 million views per day. And these people are just raking it in, trying to continue to foster and foment the left versus right paradigm lie. We're going to look at some of that on this episode right here. And a lot of people ask me, Brian, why are you giving these people airtime? Because this exemplifies the cancer that infests the minds of Americans. This is what people are responding to. And whether that 54 million view count that he got last month was from bots or real people, I would wager that a high percentage of them are real people. Democrats who want to make a difference, Democrats who want to take over, Democrats who want the ring of power. And that's what it is. That's what the voting process is. That's what the election process is. Some psychopath out there wants the ring of power. What does he want the ring of power for? So that he can exercise that power over you. So he can do good things and exercise his good intentions. Remember what Daniel Webster said. Good intentions will always be pleaded for every assumption of authority, every grabbing of authority. It's hardly too strong to say that the Constitution was made to guard the people against the dangers of good intentions. A lot of people don't understand there are a lot of dangers attached to good intentions. These men, they want to rule well, but they mean to rule you. They desire to govern, but they mean to govern you. To govern means to rule, to control. They want to be your controllers. And people like this want their controllers in as they make fun of the controllers on the right side of the spectrum. So this is another pitiful Democrat propagandist making fun of Stephen Miller. The name of the video is Screaming Miller Loses It as Protesters Kick Him Out of D.C. By the way, Stephen Miller, yes, he is another psychopath. So this is an episode of psychopaths calling psychopaths psychopaths. Crazy stuff under the big top.
We are not getting close to an authoritarian takeover by Donald Trump's regime. We are in an authoritarian takeover by Donald Trump's regime. And
no duh, because all governments are authoritarian in nature, buddy.
Where is that clearer than what is happening in D.C. right now? Armed guards harassing people, patrolling streets that are safe from the crime that Donald Trump wants to make you think is running rampant so that he can take control. But
he doesn't care about armed guards harassing you, by the way. People like this right here want gun laws, and they want gun laws enforced, gun safety regulations. In other words, these people like him, people like Jack here, want armed men to come in with their guns. You know, they claim to be against gun violence, but they want government-initiated, government-funded gun violence to come against you if you just happen to possess a gun that he doesn't want you to have, or too much ammunition, or high-capacity magazines. He wants you invaded. He wants you to be brought to bear. He wants you to under the thumb of the authorities of his choosing.
DC is fighting back. And the best example I've seen yet just now happened. J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, and best of all, Stephen Miller getting booed to their faces and running away from protesters who let them have it. I called that out right here.
All right, let's see this.
It's like there are certain people specifically on that side that anytime we want to discuss what has taken place as relates to Black people and how they took our labor, how they took our lives, how they ruined families, they never want the truth to come out because it hurts their feelings. It's kind of like when we decide to call a racist, such as these racist maps that are going through Texas. They always are upset when you just call them for what they are. But the reality is that we need to start speaking more truth if we are really going to get to the real power. And if we don't recognize the full history, then we are doomed to repeat it. And frankly,
she is the real power. This is a representative from Texas, Jasmine Crockett. She is in power. She has the rings of power on. She is a legislator. She is one of the ones who makes the law. Yeah, they're the minority right now, and they may soon become the majority in 2026, but they still want power over you. They want to create the laws that you have to follow. And if you don't want to follow them, then they will send men with guns to make sure that their laws are enforced. That's authoritarianism.
this
is what Jack applauds.
Guy that is trying to do everything that he can to repeat it. That is why there are so many people saying that if you wonder what you would have been doing during the civil rights movement, then the question is, what are you doing right now? Because we are literally living through a modern day civil rights fight, the fight in which there was a Texan who signed the Voting Rights Act into law because of these literacy tests and because of Jim Crow. And now, just the other day, what did he say? He wanted to get rid of mail-in ballot voting. This is a guy that wants to take us back. We knew that we had an opportunity not to go back. In fact,
all right, let's see what this Jack guy
realize
says.
That there is more to Donald Trump's attack on D.C., on museums, on Texas.
Of course there is. There's always more to any policy. There's always more to any action, whether you're talking about a Republican president or a Democrat president. There's more than meets the eye when you look at a bill, when you read a bill that's 2,000 pages long. How long was the CARES Act? Something like 5,800 pages. There's always more to it. They basically bill it as, oh, this is going to bail out Americans. This is going to give some major monetary and economic relief to them. But then you come to find out that it had a $4 trillion Federal Reserve backstop. The lion's share of the money went to go to Borla and Pfizer and Moderna. And what you got here is a complete denial of, hey, the thing that I'm accusing their team of doing, my team does the exact same thing. So what if he was really honest, what he would be saying is, I don't like the Republican brand of authoritarianism. I want the Democrat brand of authoritarianism. But that's what elections are all about. So let's get into this Stephen Miller thing.
We have to see what he had to say because it's just made so much sweeter when he gets booed for saying it.
They have no families they're raising in this city. They have no one that they're sending to school in this city. They have no jobs in this city. They have no connections to this community at all. But they're the ones who've been advocating for the 1%, the criminals, the killers, the rapists, the drug dealers. And I'm glad they're here today. Because me, Pete, and the Vice President are all going to leave here, and inspired by them, we're going to add thousands more resources to this city to get the criminals and the gang members out of here.
In other words, we the criminals of Washington's District of Criminals are going to plunder more Americans so that we can enact more of our policies so that we can get rid of the other criminals.
And dismantle those networks, and we're going to prove that a city can serve for the law-abiding citizens who live there. We are not going to let the communists destroy a great American city, let alone the nation's capital. And let's just also address one other thing. All these demonstrators that you've seen out here in recent days, all of these elderly white hippies, they're not part of this city and never have been. And by the way, most of the citizens who live in Washington, D.C. are black. This is not a city that has had any safety for its black citizens for generations. And President Trump is the one who is fixing that with the support of the Metropolitan Police Department, the support of the National Guard, and our federal law enforcement officers.
Yeah, the only one melting down, it seems, causing problems and just annoying the shit out of us is you, Stephen, with your mayonnaise bleached head. Like, that's it. And your ill-fitting suits, which I will always bring up when talking about Stephen Miller, because he does look terrible. But of course, Miller finally got what he deserved, as him, J.D. Vance, and Pete Hegseth had to run away from protesters in Union Station. You gonna F a couch, buddy? Vance and Hegseth booed, heckled by protesters at D.C.'s Union Station. Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth were greeted with loud boos during their trip to Union Station on Wednesday. The two men, who were also
we're just gonna skip to this.
Oh look, it's couch fucker. You gonna fuck a couch, buddy?
Right here. Do not go past this.
JD Vance, go
That was literally almost nothing.
is what I am talking about. Complete humiliation of J.D. Vance. Complete
Would you have one, maybe two voices coming out against him? That wasn't exactly them being destroyed. And as for Stephen Miller meltdown after booed to face, the name of this video is Screaming Miller Loses It. He wasn't screaming. He was talking directly. And I am not a Stephen Miller fan. That guy is a Zio shill from beginning to end. And he's not good for America. He's actually Israel first, not America first. And just like all the administration in this current White House are 100% MAGA and not MAGA. But this is a lie. He didn't lose it. He didn't melt down. And being booed, I didn't even hear anybody boo. I just heard somebody say F a couch.
humiliation of can't do a proper pull-up, Pete Hegseth. Complete humiliation of Stephen Miller. That is what we need.
And it's unbelievable that this has released an hour ago. I will not get 72,000 views on this channel in a month. He gets it in an hour.
Out in the streets. Be loud. Do it now. Take this seriously.
Wow.
This is a real moment. I know a lot of people have said that this is Trump attempting to cover up or distract from the Epstein files or distract.
How is this getting that many views? This is baffling to me. Even when I watch, I try to, it's hard to do it in an unbiased fashion because I'm not a statist. I don't bow down. I don't kiss the ring. I don't want a Democrat to be in control. I don't want a Republican to be in control of your life. But when I listen to them, I feel like I'm objective when I listen to Dave Pakman or Brian Tyler Cohen or Adam Mockler or this Jack dude or Midas Touch. And I'm like, all right, I'm trying to put myself in the position of a Democrat. What is the draw here? Why would you want to feel like these guys are in your corner, that they're actually speaking for you, unless they actually are speaking for you and your brain is that eroded and deteriorated?
From his failure and complete capitulation to Putin. Some things that Donald Trump does are distractions, ridiculous tweets, insane posts, when he just blurts out at reporters. But this is not a distraction. This is real. This needs to be treated as an actual crisis, which it is. It's not a side issue. It's not something to divert our focus. It needs our focus, and it needs more people. And I broke it down.
I mean, just a bunch of word salad there.
Because it'll give you a little bit of hope.
Demand democracy. On the other lane there, it says resist tyranny.
Oh, my God.
By the middle of last week, bystanders...
Resist tyranny would mean, if it had any meaning at all, it's resist tyranny in all its forms. In the elephant form, in the donkey form, in the red form, in the blue form. Anybody who wants to control you and take your guns or tell you this is how much we're going to take out of your paycheck. That is tyranny. That's government oppression. That is authoritarianism. So it's meaningless to have a banner out there that says resist tyranny while you're promoting your brand of tyranny.
We're turning out at all these militarized checkpoints that Trump has set up around the city. Crowds chanting, "Get off our streets," and "Take off your mask." By the following
Is that the Rach? Is that Rachel from MSDNC?
morning, there were more protesters outside the White House carrying signs.
Robert Madcow. The criminals are in the White House, not the streets of D.C. Well, there could be criminals in the streets of D.C., but they're definitely also in the White House, and it's not just because Trump is president. Criminals were in the White House during Biden. Criminals would have been in the White House during Kamala. Criminals were in the White House during Bush, during Obama, during Clinton, during Reagan. They are just, that's what politicians are. It's 2025. This channel is dedicated to breaking the left versus right paradigm, which means breaking the cycle of people looking up to and supporting with their time, effort, energy, their monetary capabilities. Stop supporting the scummiest, wormiest, most psychopathic people among us.
It's like the criminals are in the White House, not the streets of D.C. As of Friday afternoon, there was yet more local residents showing up in...
Oh, Rach wasn't reporting on that when people are standing with signs in front of the Biden White House.
droves at, among other places, the city's police headquarters after they learned of Trump's effort, a now failed effort, to try to name a Trump administration official to be head of the D.C. police.
God, politicians and the people who own them, who pull their strings, love it when you protest because they know you're not going to do anything about it. They know you're not going to walk away from taxation, which is theft. They know you're going to continue supporting the military-industrial complex because you're scared. They know that you're going to continue to fall for the CIA-infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra Media program because that's how you've been wired. You were programmed.
A federal judge put a stop to that. At a National Women's Soccer League game that night, there were over 10,000 fans there watching their home team, the Washington Spirit. During the game, they chanted, "Free DC, free DC." Following morning, on Saturday morning, the weather...
As though DC has ever been in a state of freedom at all. It's the cesspool that keeps everything going. Nobody spends and wastes money like Washington, D.C. Who runs Washington, D.C.? Not the 535 politicians as we're told in school. It's the 12,000 lobbyists, the special interest groups, big tech, big oil, the big prison system guys, the military industrial complex. They are the ones, big pharma, they are the ones who run, own, and operate and pull the strings of the politicians.
It was super, super hot in Washington.
And Israel.
But D.C. still turned out in big numbers, taking over the streets from DuPont Circle to the National Mall, including passing all the military vehicles and full uniform National Guard troops that have inexplicably been deployed there by the president. Once again, they held signs that say, "Free D.C." Some people also showed up in costume. Despite the heat, this guy dressed up like Donald Trump, holding a sign that says, "Fascism wears diapers now." The look on the cop's face next to that sign is somehow a perfect set of bookends there. Day after day after day after day, the president's military takeover of D.C. has been met with direct action.
So he's going to end it with MSNBC. He doesn't even have any more of his commentary. Here's some more of his commentary. Let's see.
That is what I am talking about. We need people out in the streets. We need to show community. We need these numbers. We need to fight back.
We need the slaves out in the streets begging their slave masters to give us another king. Give us another White House. Give us another administration, because that'll be better. That won't be authoritarianism. It's nonsense. It's BS. And we got to expose it. I need your help exposing it. Make sure you like this video. Share this video with everybody you know. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon. If you want to support the channel further, the links are in the description. But really, the core of this whole channel is guard with jealous attention the public liberty. Suspect anyone who comes near this precious jewel, and we know all politicians do. Nothing will preserve it but downright force. And when you give up that force, you are ruined. I will see you in the next video.